the Russell Westbrook stuff, I made myself a promise. I'm not going to blame Russell Westbrook for all his issues this year, all the team's issues. I do not believe Westbrook is the cause of what will be a bad Lakers season. He is a symptom of what's wrong with the Lakers. He has no business being on this team. No general manager worth his paycheck would put a guy who can't play off ball and needs the ball with LeBron. He's not the cause of their issues. He's a symptom of it. They don't know what they're doing. And Russell Westbrook, who's, he plays hard. When he got traded here, we said on this show, I get it. He'll give you 35 minutes a night. He plays hard. Anthony Davis and LeBron, they're always hurt. But you can't, LeBron and him on the floor at the same time for long stretches, it doesn't work. He is a symptom of what's wrong with his franchise. So now they bring in a rookie coach who, good luck in the West with Popovich and the Kerrs and the Malones and this you got a lot of good coaches. Monty Williams out West, up and down, Ty Lue out West. Then you got a rookie head coach. So even if you had as much talent as all the other teams, you could get outmaneuvered because you got a rookie head coach in Darvin Ham, and who knows if he's good. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. We'll watch 20, 30 games. We'll go to the All-Star break and see what it looks like. But Westbrook had a hamstring issue, and he was asked, you got out of your routine. You came off the bench. Did it screw up your routine? Is that the reason you got hurt?
Do you think having to change your routine and stuff like that could have played any role in feeling something a little different?
Absolutely. I've been doing the same thing for 14 years straight. Honestly, I didn't even know what to do pregame. Being honest, I was trying to figure out and try to stay warm and loose, and that's something that just I wasn't accustomed to.
I don't know if that's true. Westbrook sometimes can't get out of his own way. Last night was a prime example. He hit back-to-back buckets. He cut the lead to 6, and then he slaps the ball. It's a classic Westbrook where he gets back-to-back baskets. He's playing with huge energy, slaps right there, gets a technical. There goes your momentum. Sometimes he can't get out of his own way. I doubt the change in his pregame ritual is why he pulled his hammy. But again, it's not his fault. It's just his game. This is who he is. You don't ask Tom Brady to run RPOs. You don't ask Derrick Henry to run seam routes. This is what his game is. He shouldn't be on this team playing with LeBron. He should be on a rebuilding team. He gets the ball, 37 minutes, 23 points, fun to watch, sell some tickets, and it's an athletic, hyper-athletic young team, and he can give you a lot of minutes. That's what he should be on. This team needs shooters. He can't do that. So this Laker house, it's the classic thing. Westbrook is the paint on a house that has electrical issues, plumbing issues, and foundation issues. It could use some new paint, but it's got much bigger issues. And he is this is what he is. You're asking Tom Brady to run RPOs. It's not what he does. This is not what Westbrook does. Barkley talked about it after.
You know how I feel about Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
I admire him. I respect him. It's time for the Lakers to move him. They have taken all his joy out of life in basketball. This guy used to be so exuberant, played with great energy and great emotion. I think the wear and tear mentally last year, starting this year, and the thing is, he gonna get the blame no matter what, because the Lakers ain't a championship contender.
The way I would classify the Lakers and the Warriors, there's 30 teams in the NBA. 15 of them, 15, 16 make the playoffs. The Warriors are the best team in the top 15 in the league of viable teams. They're the best team. The standard of the league. Depth, brilliance, coaching, shooting, everything. The Lakers are arguably, of the remaining 15 teams, they're the best of the teams that'll either play a play-in game or won't make the playoffs. Now, we know they're not a tanking franchise, so the NBA is kind of cut into halves. There's the halves that'll make the playoffs. Some are championship teams, Warriors, Bucks, Celtics, and then some are like Minnesota, the Pelicans. They're good, they're ascending, they're rising. Probably not a championship team yet. Cleveland's in that class. Good, though. And then there's the second half of the teams, and some of those think they could make the playoffs, probably be play-in teams like the Lakers or the Knicks. And then some are just bad, and then some are tanking. And so that's the difference. But you can't ask Westbrook or any pro athlete to do what they don't do. LeBron's the Swiss Army knife. He does everything. But you don't ask Steph to guard the other team's best player. Klay Thompson does that, or Draymond does that, or Andrew Wiggins does that. Even though they're pro athletes, almost all pro athletes, there's the occasional LeBron, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Ohtani. There's the occasional pro athlete that can do anything. Even among pro athletes, that is totally rare. I'm a sportscaster. Most sportscasters are play-by-play guys, Joe Buck, opinion guys, me, reporters, Tom Rinaldi. Like they've got roles and they do things. You go to a hospital, there's the surgeon, there's the nurse, there's the foot specialist. You can't ask these pro athletes to do everything. Most are great at one or two things. LeBron's an outlier. He's a great ball handler, a great defender, he can drive to the basket. He gets people open. He's the best passer, arguably, in the league. Josh Allen can jump over people, go deep, run it. That's rare. You're asking Westbrook to do stuff he's not built to do. Even at UCLA, when he got they didn't know what to do with him. They were like, he's just really athletic. He got to the NBA. He refined his game. But he's still just a hyper-athletic player that can't play off the ball. He doesn't work on this team. And to Barkley's point, whether you agree or not, this is a functional problem within an organization. This is a business that brings in an employee, pays him a lot, puts a ton of pressure on him, and says, why can't you do that? That's not what he does.
Colin, do you remember when LeBron got Chris Bosh from Toronto to Miami? Chris Bosh was like a 24-12 guy.
Yeah.
LeBron said, we don't need that. Here's what we need you to do. He adapted. When LeBron got Kevin Love from Minnesota to Cleveland, Kevin Love was like 26-12 All-Star. Kevin, we don't need that. Here's what we need you to do. He adapted. Why won't Russell Westbrook adapt to?
Okay.
Now, I don't know what they want Russ to be.
But here's the reason.
Whatever they want him to be.
Because Bosh and Kevin Love could adapt because their game has more layers to it. Kevin Love was a great rebounder. I watched him in high school. He's a great scorer. He's a great shooter. Chris Bosh, again, his game has layers to it. Chris Bosh can rebound. He can defend. He's long. He can actually go outside and shoot. Westbrook, and this is why he has aged quickly, he is a hyper-athletic, need the ball in his hands guard. He is not I don't think he's nearly as layered or nuanced. His game isn't as complex as a Bosh or a Kevin Love, both who I'd put in the Hall of Fame. And not everybody in the Hall of Fame can do everything. People are asking him, hey, change your game. Your game is your game. And Westbrook's game is all athleticism. I've always compared Westbrook to Cam Newton. Cam Newton was never going to complete 69% of his throws. That's not what he was. And that's why Westbrook and Cam's career, hyper-athleticism is the key. Go off the cliff. That's the difference. Why Josh Allen's a better version of Cam? Because Josh Allen can be a more consistent distributor of the football. And so when I watch Cam, I'm like, enjoy it now. It's not going to last forever. There's not a lot of nuance. You watch certain quarterbacks in the league and they add elements to their game every year. Cam's game is what it was. So enjoy 9 years of greatness. Westbrook's game, it is what it is. There's some of these guys that, Ray Allen came into the league hyper athletic. Then he became a shooter. Ray Allen shifted his game. Some guys can do that. Even great athletes, their game is their game. Don't ask them to do what they can't do. Nobody's asking me at Fox to be a play-by-play guy. Nobody's asking me to be a journalist like Tom Rinaldi. Nobody's asking me to be the host that asks the questions. I come in, fire off opinions, I go home, take a nap, and have my dinner. That's what I do.
How about Blake Griffin? We saw Blake Griffin as a hyper-athletic, only dunking machine. Guess what?
Fast.
He was aging. He was about to be out of the league. Blake, we need you to learn how to shoot three-pointers. What did Blake Griffin do? Got in the gym, and that's all he did. And Blake Griffin's career keeps on going.
Okay,
now, he's not a great player, but he can make threes now, and that's all they want him to do.
Right. But you just answered your own question. Nobody looks at Blake Griffin as a vital piece to winning. No. You're asking Westbrook to be a vital piece of a championship team shooting. It's not what he does. Blake Griffin is a bench guy. Oh, he can hit a jumper when he's healthy. That's fine.
Maybe Russ should be a bench guy to come in with the second unit.
But I'm actually defending Russ on this. You're starting to ask singular players to do multiple things.
To evolve as a player.
The Warriors are a great example. Draymond doesn't score. So they make sure they get Wiggins complimenting him, and Steph, he doesn't need to be a scorer. Steph isn't a great defender. They get Klay Thompson to do the dirty work in the backcourt and defend. The Warriors acknowledge very quickly, here's what our guys do, and here's what our guys don't do. Kayvon Looney's a great example. They only ask Kayvon Looney, be a great rebounder, and he has become a great NBA rebounder. Everybody's got a role. Westbrook is your hyper-athletic, ball in your hands on a rebuilding team. You bring him and say, we need shooters. Well, then go get Buddy Hield. Because Buddy Hield, by the way, isn't nearly as athletic as Westbrook, but he's a great catch-and-shoot guy.
At the same time, Colin, do you think Russell Westbrook understands this? Russ, if you don't evolve, you're going to get traded to Indiana for Buddy Hield, and they're going to cut you, and you're going to be out of the NBA because you refused to evolve and learn new skills that could have worked. He's not going to be in the league. The Pacers don't want him. They will roll out Tyrese Halliburton, young guys, and tank. Russell Westbrook will be out of the NBA by Thanksgiving at this rate.
And by the way, he's going to be 34, 35. He'll have $300 million in the bank. He's got a beautiful wife and family. He'll be fine.
Probably, yeah.
All right, J-Mac with the news.
No.
Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
All right, let's go to a more positive vibe here. Tom Brady, coming off the tough loss to the Steelers, Colin, jawing at the teammates on the sideline, of course, caught the eye of Ben Roethlisberger, who believes, Big Ben, of course, he's seeing a different side to Brady. Here's what the retired Roethlisberger had to say.
In my opinion, and Tom is the greatest. I mean, the Super Bowl rings show it and talk about it and whatever. It didn't look like he wanted to be out there. I mean, maybe it was the pressure though, and he was getting hit, and whatever was going on. Like, there's no way he's enjoying this. No way. When a defense gets after you, like sometimes your anger and your disgust for things happen because the other team is affected, not just because it's you. So
right.
But yeah, it did. It just looked like a different Tom.
Yeah, well, it is a different Tom. He's going through a marriage crisis. He's aging. He wanted to retire last year. It is a different Tom. He compared it to military deployment. He said, when the season starts, like that's where my mind goes. I'm all in on this. I keep saying I can be the perfect dad and the perfect husband, and the season starts, and I'm all in on this. And so, yeah, I mean, I think we are looking at a player who would secretly plan to retire a year and a half ago and get into ownership. It didn't work. I mean, I've seen Brady do things in the last year that I haven't seen him do in 20. So I think, it's really difficult, even for Favre, Peyton Manning, Michael Jordan. It never ends beautifully. Joe Namath, Johnny Unitas. The end is always, Jeter is rare. Elway is, the two great finishes are Jeter and Elway. Yeah. And both could still play another year or two. They ride off into the sunset. But it usually ends like this. It's clunky. It's underperforming. You're doing things you're not used to. You get frustrated. You're falling apart. It's one of those or all of those.
So it's interesting. You said underperforming. From the eye test, Brady's not great. But according to Pro Football Focus, he is the 7th graded out best quarterback so far this season, ahead of Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert, which is a little surprising to me, but I looked this up. Last year at this time, after 6 weeks, Brady had 17 touchdown passes. He's only got 8 this year, and a lot of them came early. He's really done nothing the last couple of weeks.
And also, you said he's better than Joe Burrow. Burrow had major surgery. Yeah. So Joe Burrow's first 2 games, he was totally out of sync. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a number 1 receiver. So, yeah, he's better than those guys. Is he better than Mahomes? Is he better than Lamar? Is he better than Allen? Is he better than... No, the guys that have weapons, like Tom's got weapons, which are good weapons, are outperforming him.
Yeah. All right, on to Aaron Rodgers. He made headlines after calling for the offense to be simplified following the Packers' 27-10 home loss to my Jets. But Aaron Rodgers went on the Pat McAfee show yesterday where he expounded on his thoughts, saying the point was, if we're not executing those plans, which to be honest, they're not the most complex things the majority of the time, then the only slight reaction might be to even simplify things even further. It was really an alert for our players. We need to lock in a little bit more and simplify things in our own mind. Even the most complex plays can be simplified in our mind. We just need to be better in the details. The details have not been good enough.
Well, Colin? Frankly, either are the receivers. We can keep blaming details. But the defense is not performing up to its standard. They got 6 first-round picks. Is that a details thing? Is that a simplicity thing? Or is it a coaching thing? So Aaron Jones isn't getting the ball enough. Is that a simplicity thing? No, he's not getting the ball enough. I've defended Aaron on this. I do not think he has a Sean McVay, a Shanahan, an Andy Reid, a Belichick, a John Harbaugh. I've got real questions. What part of the Packers is better? What part of the Packers is performing at an elite level? Now the special team's good the first month, they're a mess. So let me defend Aaron on this. This whole simplicity thing sounds like, to me, a little bit too much. Whenever anybody just has an answer for everything being simplicity, it's like you don't want to put the work in. Because football's really, really hard and really complex. But I don't think their issues are simplicity. I think their issues are, in this league, quarterback and head coaches win Super Bowls. They've got the quarterback. They don't have the head coach. I've got real issues with LaFleur. Tell me where you see elite coaching.
So who is Rodgers taking a shot here at the teammates, the wide receivers?
He's taking a shot at anybody.
Or is it LaFleur? He's basically saying we need to simplify things because we're not a smart team.
Well, on McAfee, he's basically explaining what he said. I don't buy into the simplify stuff. I don't think simplification is their problem. Their problem is go get Chase Claypool, and you won't have to be simplified. Go get a number one receiver, because then Alan Lazard can be a 3, which is what he is. Now you're asking Alan Lazard to be a 1. He's a 3. Think about this as a pitching staff. This would be like bringing an ace to a pitching staff. And now the guy that you were fooling everybody as an ace goes to be a 2. Yeah. So he was a bad ace. He's an okay 2. He'd be a great 3. Alan Lazard is a 3. You could win a Super Bowl with that. Yeah. So if Dobbs becomes the 2 by November, so you go Claypool, Romeo, Lazard, Watson, and then the old guys who are occasionally available with their tight end.
Cobb will be back in like 4 weeks. Yeah.
That's a real receiving corps. You're bringing an ace to a staff that's got a bunch of 2 and 3 starters. So the Claypool thing, and the difference between him and OBJ, he's bigger, stronger, volume, and never hurt. OBJ, you don't know about health. I mean, Claypool is a man. He is big and available. And so you bring him in and you can slide all those receivers down. Then 10 targets a day to Claypool, 7 to the young kid, 5 to Lazard, and then you sprinkle around the tight end, everybody gets 3 or 4. Then it's a real receiving corps. You need a 1. That'll make everything work.
Well, this week they play Washington, which has like a top 7 run defense in the league.
Well, that'll be a close
Jones
game.
And Dillon can't do anything.
Yeah.
Who's going to win on the outside? This could
close
be
game.
If Green Bay falls to 3 and 4, that's a major problem, Colin. All right, we'll wrap up with another quarterback story. Dak Prescott nearly back from his thumb, which he hurt in Week 1 against the Bucs. All signs point to he's going to start this weekend against the Detroit Lions. Jerry Jones, because that's what owners do. They jump in front of microphones and explain to the media what's going on. Jerry, no limitations for Dak Prescott.
Let's just say this, from my perspective, from what I can know and see, I think he's going to get there. We feel like that physically he's at a position that the risk-reward justifies him being out there in terms of any reoccurrence of the injury. Is that no one is more prepared, no one has spent more hours getting ready to play a football game than Dak. And I think we've got it all there, the full repertoire. So I don't think there'll be any limitations on anything we do.
All right. Lions +7 feels like the play.
Lock it in, baby. But here's the funny thing. He's talking up Cooper Rush, quarterback controversy for a couple weeks, Colin. Has Jerry Jones uttered the name Cooper Rush this week since the loss to the Eagles? I mean, he's doing an interview every day. Nothing. Kick to the curb.
J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie.